Hello students, this is Dr. Shilpa Kapoor, Professor Physics from the Department of Basic Sciences, Oriental College of Technology, Bhopal. The topic of the video is Ecological Pyramid. Contains Ecological Pyramid, Types of Ecological Pyramid, Importance of Ecological Pyramid, Limitations of Ecological Pyramid. Ecological Pyramid. The trophic structure of an ecosystem can be indicated by means of ecological pyramid. At each step in the food chain, a considerable fraction of the potential energy is lost as heat. As a result, organisms in each trophic level pass on lesser energy to the next trophic level than they actually receive. This limits the number of steps in any food chain to 4 or 5. Longer the food chain, the lesser energy is available for the final members. Because of this tapering off of available energy in the food chain, a pyramid is formed that is known as ecological pyramid. The higher the steps in the ecological pyramid, the lower will be the number of individuals and larger their size. There are different types of ecological pyramids. In each ecological pyramid, producer level form the base and the successive level make up the apex. Three types of ecological relations may be found among the organisms at each different levels in the ecosystem. These are as follows: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, pyramid of energy. Pyramid of numbers. It depicts the number of individuals in the producer and in different order of consumers in an ecosystem. As depicted in the diagram, the number of the diatoms is more than the number of copepods. The number of copepods is more than the smaller fishes, and the number of smaller fishes is more than the larger fishes. It indicates that the producer level have the higher numbers and the top carnivores are in lower number. The base of the pyramid is represented by the producers, which are the most abundant. In the successive level of consumers, the number of organisms goes on decreasing rapidly until there are a few carnivores. The pyramid of number of an ecosystem indicates that the producers are ingested in large numbers by the smaller number of primary consumers. These primary consumers are eaten by a relatively smaller number of the secondary consumers, and these secondary consumers in turn are consumed by only a few tertiary consumers. Pyramid of biomass. The living weights or biomass of the members of the food chain present at any one time from the pyramid of biomass of organisms. This indicate by the weight or other means of measuring materials the total bulk of the organisms or the fixed energy present at one time. The pyramid of biomass indicates the decrease of the biomass in each trophic level from base to apex, that is, the total biomass of producer is more than the total biomass of the herbivores. Since some energy and the material are lost in each successive link, the total mass supported at each level is limited by the rate at which the energy is being stored below. This usually gives the sloping pyramid for most of the communities in terrestrial and shallow water ecosystem. As depicted in the figure, the biomass of the autotrophs is more than the biomass of the herbivores. The biomass of the herbivore is more than the biomass of primary carnivores. The biomass of the primary carnivores is more than the secondary carnivores. And finally, the mass of the secondary carnivores is more than the tertiary carnivores. That is, the base have more mass as compared to that of the top level. Pyramid of energy. This epic depicts not only the amount of total energy utilized by the organisms at each trophic level of the food chain, but more important, the actual role of various organisms in the transfer of energy. At the producer level, the total energy will be much greater than the energy at the successive higher trophic level. Some producers organisms may have small biomass, but the total energy they assimilate and pass on to the consumers may be greater than the that of the organisms which have more biomass. The higher trophic levels are more efficient in energy utilization, but much heat is lost in the energy transfer. This figure depicts the energy pyramid or pyramid of energy. Thus, we know that sun is the major source of the energy. The primary producers, which are the autotrophs, they make their own food with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll from the process of photosynthesis. The primary producer receives 100% of energy. The primary consumers receive 10% of energy. The secondary consumers receive 1% of energy. The third level receives 0.1% of energy, and the apex receive the 0.1% energy. From each successive levels, the energy is lost as in the form of a heat. Importance of ecological pyramid. They show the feeding of different organisms in different ecosystems. It shows the efficiency of high energy transfer. The condition of the ecosystem can be monitored and any further damage can be prevented. Limitations of ecological pyramid. More than one species may occupy multiple trophic levels as in the case of the food web. Thus, this system does not take into account of food webs. The saprophytes are not considered in any of the pyramids, even though they form an important part of the various ecosystem. These pyramids are applicable only to simple food chains, which usually do not occur naturally. These pyramids do not deliver any concept in the relationship to various variations in the season and the climate. They do not consider the possibility of the existence of the same species at different levels. Thank you.